So hello everyone, we'll be doing the February mapping part. So anyways, I'll be coming up with comprehensive mapping also, but okay, if you want to go month by month current affairs, okay, of mapping, then you should go here. And here I'm telling you again, will not be just looking at the current events, but also will be beating around the bush. So that is how UPSC will be asking questions. So you need to have a comprehensive knowledge. So Feb mapping. So the President of French Republic paid an official visit to India. So in this context, let's do what are the important physiographic divisions or locations of France. See, you see here, okay, this location, okay, here you have the Pyrenees, here you have the Massif, this is Massif Central, okay, and here you have Alps and you have Jura and Vosges. See, you can ignore this, Massif, Central Massif. The Pyrenees separates between the Spain and France, that's what is important. It is a fold mountain, so it belongs to Alpine orogeny. You see the Alps, they have the same age as Himalayas. So they belong to tertiary mountain orogeny. So they have been formed, okay, Pyrenees and Alps, they have been formed around 65 million years ago. Jura also, okay, so between Jura and Alps, you have faulting in between, or else Jura also belongs to the Alpine mountain orogeny. So Jura, Alps, Pyrenees, all fold mountains. Now Vosges, which is here, the Vosges, beside Vosges, you have the Rhine river, and in Germany the Vosges is called as Black Forest. So between the Black Forest and Vosges, you have the Rhine river flowing, and wherever in the crystalline rocks, if you are having rifting, then it will be rich in coal. So Rhine Valley is very rich in coal, and this is also the industrial belt of Germany as well as the France. So this is the physiography, and in between you have plains. The green part which you see here, these are plains, and these are important for the France agriculture. And one very important river here is Seine river. Okay, on the banks of the Seine river, you have the city Paris as well, and the southern part, okay, you have this Rhone river. So in geography, you must have heard about the Mistral winds, the gusty, cold winds which will be blowing into this valley. Okay, these are also called as drainage winds. Sometimes the speed increases to 160 km per hour. Okay, they'll be blowing in the Rhone valley. So these are the important physiographic divisions of the France. So next one which is in the news is this Donetsk and Lugansk. So this Donetsk and Lugansk, the eastern part of the Ukraine, okay, they have Russian speaking and Russian ethnic population. So that's why since from 2014, the Russia was able to have a very good hold on this region. The Ukraine is never able to go and occupy this entire area of Lugansk and Donetsk because you have Russian origin population here, Russian ethnic population. So obviously they will be favoring Russia. And one more important thing, in this region, okay, in the eastern part of the Ukraine, you also have a river called as Don River here. The Don River is rich in coal, and the coal which is available in this region, this coal is called as the Donbass coal. And the Don River is flowing into the small sea which you see here. This is called as the Sea of Azov. And the Sea of Azov is separated by Black Sea. This is Black Sea. It is separated by the Strait of Kerch. The Kerch is important here. And the peninsula which you see here, this is the Crimean Peninsula. So the Crimean Peninsula has been annexed by Russia in the year 2014 itself. So actually, okay, before 56, the Kerch was part of Russia only. So later on, because of administrative conveniences, the Crimea was added in Ukraine. So in Crimea also, you have a lot of ethnic Russian population. Now, after annexation of Crimea, okay, Russia has a very big coast with the Black Sea. So these are some of the important locations here. Anyways, this Donetsk, Donbass, so these have been already asked in UPSC once. So next one which is in the news is CDS visits Armenia. Okay, our chief of the defense staff has visited Armenia. Now, earlier one location which has been asked in exam is Nagorno-Karabakh. Nagorno-Karabakh is nothing but it's the hilly region. Nagorno means hilly region. So, the hilly region of the Azerbaijan has Armenian ethnic population. Okay, they belong to Armenia. Now, therefore, the Azerbaijan, okay, has attacked Nagorno-Karabakh and it has taken over Nagorno-Karabakh. So since then, there has been a rift between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Armenia, what is the problem between Armenia and Azerbaijan? See, Armenia has Christian ethnic population and is largely supported by Russia. So Azerbaijan has Muslims. So it has Shia Muslims. So there are cultural differences. So let me explain you how geography will decide your fate. So the hilly region which is in Azerbaijan, okay, has Christian population. It has Armenian population. So that's why the people of Nagorno-Karabakh, okay, did not mix very well with Azerbaijanis. So the Nagorno-Karabakh was still very recently an exclave of Armenia. Okay, but now the condition is different. The Azerbaijan, okay, he is holding on Nagorno-Karabakh. So in this situation, Armenia needs arms, ammunition. So who is selling? India is selling. So Akash Sam, okay, recently, okay, when this Iran and this, okay, USA Israel war is going on, you must have heard about a lot of SAMs, surface to air missiles. So India has its own indigenous Akash Sam. So India is selling this, India is selling Pinaka MRBL and lots of defense equipment India is selling to Armenia. Now why India is selling so much to Armenia? The firstly, Armenia needs it. Second is Russian connection. The Russia also sells around 40 to 50%, means India imports 40% of the defense equipment from Russia. So next one which is in the news is terms of reference for India GCC free trade agreement. So in this context, they can ask you which are GCC countries. Now, why this GCC has been formed? Because in 1979, the Shah regime was backed by USA. So it collapsed, it fell down. Tab, okay, these countries, they felt that, okay, hamara bhi siyasat gir jayega. So they got scared, they have become vulnerable. So that's why they have formed their own grouping. But what is the commonality between these countries? Firstly, they are rich. Secondly, they are dependent upon oil. And these are all monarchies. And one more thing which is important here is these are all Sunni. Now this is Sunni, okay. Obviously they will be having problem, right, okay, with the Shia. Now here in Iran you have Shia. Now basically the problem between this GCC and Iran is Shia Sunni, that is sectorial rift. Now if at all in examination they are asking which are the Shia dominated countries, so we can take this Persian Gulf as a rift. Okay, so this Persian Gulf, it not only divides, okay, the countries here, but also it is acting as a sectoral divide. So on the lower side, okay, you have Sunni countries. On the upper side, you have Shia countries. So what are the Shia countries? Iran is a Shia country. Iraq, Shia country. And here you have a very small country called as Bahrain. So Bahrain is again a Shia dominated country, and you have a small country here called as Azerbaijan. So these four are Shia dominated countries. So that's why, okay, the GCC has been formed. Sometimes they can also ask you, okay, arrange these countries from north to south. Now you can ask me why Yemen is not included. Okay, the Yemen, okay, is not as rich as these countries, and it is not, because they don't fit into each other, whereas rest of the countries, they fit into each other. Okay. So next which is in the news is Al-Jaf. This Al-Jaf, okay, it is located in the desert called as An-Nafad. Now, two deserts in Saudi Arabia or Arabian Peninsula become important. An-Nafad, which is in the north, and Rab al-Khali. So, Rab al-Khali, it is the largest sandy desert in the world. Means sand yahan se leke wahan tak hai. So these Arab people, okay, they go in the desert with their SUVs and or yalla drift bolte rehte na. Okay, that sand. The sand is immense over here. And Al-Nafad, recently what happened here in desert is that there was a snowfall. Now you might be surprised why in desert, okay, there will be snowfall. See, in desert you have sand. The sand has very low specific heat. That means it cools instantly, it also heats instantly. So during the daytime, it heats enormously. So even during summers in the desert time, now night time it becomes very cold. So the surface has become very cold. So when the surface has become very cold, in the same time, if there are cold winds coming from the north, and at the same time you have rainfall. So the rain which is falling, when it is going near to the ground, when it goes near to the ground, it cools instantly and the rain droplets freeze. So that is how it had snowfall. So next one which is in the news is Sveda. The Sveda is located in the southern part of the Syria, and this ethnic minority, it is called as Druze. So Druze people are very peculiar. So they are very unique religion. So the religion has the mix of Islam, Christianity, Hinduism and Greek philosophy. So that's the reason why they stand out. And recently Israel has bombed this region a lot. So remember Sweda region, okay, which is in southern part of the Syria, and the Druze people. And Druze people also ethnically persecuted people. Next, PM's visit to Israel. So just before, on the 28th of Feb, the war has started. So just the day before of the war से एक दिन पहले अपने प्रधानमंत्री वहाँ पे गए थे. बहुत ही bad timing है, because it will be sending a information to the world that so India or Israel ने मिलके कुछ war करा. So it's a very bad thing to happen to India. Now, let's see some of the important locations in Israel. So because of the Israel and Iran war, the Iran has been targeting Israeli cities. So here the ports become very important. So Port Elliot. So Elliot port is towards Red Sea. So last time in UPSC they have asked, okay, the port of Aqaba. Aqaba is also Red Sea port, but Aqaba belongs to Jordan. So Elliot, you remember, towards Red Sea, REDE, something like that, you remember. Next, port of Ashdod. Ashdod is very important port. And on the other side, you have Port Haifa. So these are the three important ports. Of course, Tel Aviv, okay, you will remember. Plus these three cities you remember. And in Israel, okay, you have this Palestine also. So this is called as Gaza. So Gaza is having border with Egypt. And this is a Sinai Peninsula of Egypt. Then this is called as the West Bank. The West Bank is called as West Bank because here you have the river Jordan. So river Jordan separates the West Bank with Jordan country. Now the river Jordan, okay, it has origin, okay, in Sea of Galilee. Here is see a small lake kind of a thing. So this is the Sea of Galilee. The Sea of Galilee is a freshwater lake. It acts as one of the important sources of fresh water. And here you see one region over here, this region. So this region is called as Golan Heights. So Golan Heights acts as a very important vantage point. Uske upar, okay, if you go, okay, on the top of it, okay, you can shoot everyone, you can throw missiles very easily. It is also an important source of water, it is green. So once in UPSC they have asked, okay, where it is located. So it is conflicted between, okay, Israel and Syria. And also one more perspective, Israel has occupied Golan Heights, which actually belongs to Syria. So Golan Heights, Sea of Galilee, okay. From here you have the Jordan River. The Jordan River takes a break in between. Okay, this break in between is called as the Dead Sea. Now Dead Sea, It also has the lowest point on the surface of the earth. It's extremely saline, okay, around 350. Means in 1 liter of water, you have around 350 grams of salt. It is that saline. So that's why when you go onto the Dead Sea, okay, you'll be floating, okay, you will see like a dead person. And moreover, because of that high salinity, very high salinity, so none of the life will survive. That's why it is also called as Red Sea. Again, the Jordan River, okay, finally meets into the Red Sea. So this region which you see, okay, the Red Sea, the Jordan, the Dead Sea, again Jordan River, again this, okay, Sea of Galilee, it is part of a rifting. So it is the extension of the Great African Rifting into Asia. So it is a part of divergent rifting. So यहाँ पे divergent हो रहा है. So it is also highly prone to the earthquakes. So these are some of the important features over here. So remember the ports here, Sea of Galilee, remember it is fresh water, Jordan River, Rift Valley Lake, it has origin in Hula Valley, we can also say it has origin in, okay, the Golan Heights, Dead Sea, extremely saline, lowest point on the surface of the earth, Jordan River, Rift Valley, Hula Valley, Negev Desert, okay, the desert which is located in Israel is called as Negev Desert. So this is where we have Golan Heights, which we have discussed, which Israel has occupied. And one more thing which was in the news is Rafah crossing. The Rafah crossing border partially open. Now this is Gaza. The Gaza is also called as an open jail. Okay, on one side of Gaza you have the Egypt, on the other side you have Israel. So it is completely closed, and they can't enter into the sea also here because you have Israel on the other side. So it is like living in hell. So it has some crossings, okay, if he has to do trade, because not everything is produced here. So it has to, in, out hona chahiye, goods, people ka. So that's why you have crossings. So 3 crossings, okay. Rafah crossing is into Egypt. You have Kerem Shalom crossing, it's into Israel. And you have Erez crossing. So remember these 3 crossings. Now Rafah crossing is into Egypt, okay, and Egypt helps Gaza. And the group, the political group, okay, which is active in Gaza is called as Hamas. So recently there have been, accusations that, Hamas, is supported by Qatar. So that is also one of the reasons why in 2017, the Qatar, for a while, it was kept out of GCC. So GCC said there was diplomatic crisis of Qatar. So next one which is in the news is Paktita province, which is in Afghanistan. So this is the Durand line. The Durand line separates Afghanistan and Pakistan. So the Pakistani army has attacked. A lot of strikes have taken place on this province of Pakistan. This province is called as Paktita. This Prime Minister's visit to Malaysia. So Malaysia is located in this part of the world. So it is part of the Borneo as well. The Borneo, this island is called as Borneo. So this island of Borneo is shared by Malaysia, Indonesia, a small country called as Brunei. Now beside Malaysia, this island is called as the Sumatra. The Sumatra belongs to Indonesia. So between these two, you have this Strait of Malacca. The Strait of Malacca is an important crossing over here. So a lot of Chinese shipments pass through Strait of Malacca. But again, if you have these choke points, it becomes very difficult. Recently you have seen Strait of Hormuz, how if Israel has choked, that choke point, then the entire trade of the world has been stopped. So what if some, Indonesia or Malaysia, what it chokes the Strait of Malacca? So that's why China is looking for this alternative routes. So one of the routes towards China, is the CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is there. So China also has good relations with Bangladesh. It has good relations with Myanmar also. So Sitwe port, this Chittagong port, the China has built ports over there. And the China also wants to cut this Malay Peninsula. This part which you see here, this is Malay Peninsula. There is a region called as Kra. The China wants to build a canal over here. cutting across this Malay Peninsula, it wants to build a canal called as Kra Canal. So in the future, the goods can be supplied very easily. So these are some of the important locations. One more important thing, okay, with respect to the Malaysia is it produces around 25% of world's palm crude. So palm oil, okay, we use it everywhere in sweets, okay, in bhujia, okay, anything if you want to preserve for a very long time, okay, we'll be using the palm oil. The palm oil is not so good. So the palm oil, okay, 25% around, okay, is produced by Malaysia, and around 60-65% is produced by Indonesia. Means Malaysia plus Indonesia, they contribute to around 90% of the world's palm oil. Now, consuming palm oil is not so good for humans because it has got a lot of saturated fatty acids. The saturated fatty acids, they go and clog the arteries of humans. So next thing which is important, okay, anyways, these things we have discussed, okay, the Thai canal is also called as the Kra Canal. And of course, in the last month we have discussed this Partly, Paracel, Scarborough, etc. This Lombok state also we have discussed. The president of Seychelles visits India. You see the location of the Seychelles here. The Seychelles, okay, has granitic gneissic rocks below. That means it has continental rocks. It's actually part of the continent which has been submerged. And if you are having a land, okay, in the Fortic zone, in the tropical regions, of course you will be having the coral polyps, and coral polyps will be leaving behind the coral reefs. So that's why on this granitic gneissic rocks, you also have this calcium carbonate secretions called as coral reefs. So we can say the Seychelles is made up of coral reefs plus the granitic gneissic rocks. So this is the geology of the Seychelles. The Seychelles is in the Indian Ocean region. So for the maritime security of India and to counter China, India's partnership with Seychelles becomes very important. So that's why, okay, India has been building a lot of infrastructure. India has got radars over here. So India had got petrol vessels over here. And India also has built an airstrip, okay, in the island called as the Assumption Island. So you can see here, this is Assumption Island. So supposedly India has got this airstrip, okay, it is located between above Madagascar and beside Africa. And just above this Assumption Island, you have one more island called as Aldabra Island. You see the turtles over here? The turtles are very large. So it is also UNESCO World Heritage Site. Now, the importance of this is it's part of Mascarene Plateau. The Seychelles is part of Mascarene Plateau. And the Mahe Island, Victoria is the capital here. And don't get confused between Mahe and Malé. Malé is the capital of Maldives, which is also in the vicinity. And we have the coastal radar chain here. So one more important thing which is important here in Seychelles is you have an island called as Valle de Mai. So in this island, you get the world's largest seed called as Coco de Mer palm. So this is the world's largest seed, okay, and UNESCO World Heritage Site. It has got some very unique, okay, what species over here. So it's also called as the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean. So next one which is in the news is Etta Ali Range. So remember this volcano called as Heli Gubi. So this is on the Great African Rifting. Just now I told you this is Great African Rifting, and this is towards east, and this is extending into the Red Sea, and then it is also extending to Dead Sea. So this triple junction, this is a dead arm of the divergent plate boundary. This dead arm is also called as Alicogen. It extends into Gulf of Aden, and this triple junction is called as Afar triple junction. So right near this triple junction, you have this volcano called as Heli Gubi. So recently it had a very huge explosion. The explosion was so huge that it plume, okay, जिसमें से जो धुआं निकलता है, that has entered into stratosphere, causing, okay, a lot of problems in aviation because visibility नहीं होती है, sulfur oxide बहुत होता, sulfur dioxide बहुत होता है यहाँ पे. So because of that, okay, remember this Haley Gubi. Next, now last time also, in the last month also we have discussed the Ethiopia. The Ethiopia is a landlocked country. So that's why the Ethiopia is also in talks with Somaliland. The Somaliland has been separated from Somalia, okay, in the year 1991 itself. So it's a separate country. So recently Israel has recognized this Somaliland because you have seen the Strait of Hormuz, and here, okay, you have this Houthi rebels in Yemen, and Houthi rebels are the proxies of Iran. Now Iran, okay, if it wants, it can choke this also. Bab-el Mandeb also it can choke. That's why Israel wants to have a presence in, okay, this Gulf of Aden. So that's why, okay, it has recognized Somaliland. This is a game plan of Israel. Now Ethiopia wants to have access towards the Red Sea. Basically it wants to have a port. आपको export import कुछ भी करना हो, आपको port चाहिए होता है. So one of the ports is Port Asab. So Port Asab is in Eritrea. Now Eritrea does not like it. So that's why Eritrea is also creating a lot of problems in Ethiopia. It wants to destabilize Ethiopia. That's why the Eritrean troops, okay, they have entered into Ethiopia. And in Eritrea, in northern part of Eritrea, you have a ethnic minority which have been persecuted called as Tigray. And also you have one more group called as Fano. This Fano group is active in the Amara region. Means the groups, the ethnic minorities who are not so happy in Ethiopia, okay, so those group, okay, you can say insurgents, terrorists, whatever, okay, they are being supported or funded by Eritrea. So in this context, okay, so remember Fano, Amara region, which has been once done asked in UPSC. Tigray also has been asked in UPSC. So remember this, okay, port, Asab port in Eritrea. Next, let's come to Sudan. You see Sudan. So in Sudan, you have this plateau part. Okay, this plateau is made up of volcanic rocks. So the ethnicity of the people is different here as compared to rest of the Sudan. So why I am showing you this map? Because the geography largely decides what kind of ethnicity you have, what kind of religion you follow. For example, you take in the map of Africa here. So whichever part you see desert, there you have Islam. You can directly say. Because if you have a geographical contiguity, it becomes easy for you to convince, okay, follow my religion. Okay, it becomes easy to spread your religion or culture. So since it is a volcanic region, a plateau region, a hilly region, okay, so that's why here, okay, the people are a bit different. They follow non-Arabic culture, non-Arabic. Similarly, in the southern part, in the eastern part, you see the geography is different. It's not completely desert, okay. You have, okay, forest, you also have the grasslands. So wherever the geography changes or geographical barrier comes, so there the culture is not contiguous, the culture will differ. So you see, okay, आपको दिखता है कि छोटा है, लेकिन Africa is very large. So you can't have, okay, a same ethnicity, same religion, same culture everywhere. And if you are having, multiculturalism in a country, and in that, if one group starts dominating the others, then it will lead to secession. Okay. So previously in UPSC, they have asked which all regions, okay, they have asked the regions, okay, which have problems of secession, which are independent, which are autonomous. Means so उसी country का part है, लेकिन कुछ problems है उसमें. So this autonomous regions, okay, have been a focus of UPSC. So Darfur has been already asked in UPSC. The region, volcanic region, okay, in Sudan, which you are talking about, okay, which has non-Arabic ethnicity, is called as Darfur region. So Darfur region, similarly, you have Kordofan region, okay, you have Blue Nile State and Abyei region. So these are autonomous regions. Abyei का तो एकदम unique case है. I'll show you in the map here. So this is the Abyei area. So generally कोई territory के लिए दोनों countries fight करते हैं. लेकिन Sudan and South Sudan both are saying that we don't want you. So Abyei is kind of no man's land. Nobody wants it. It's kind of unwanted child. So this is the Darfur region. Okay, you have South Kordofan again rich in oil, and this is a Blue Nile state. Okay, So the Nile River is made up of White Nile and Blue Nile. So these are autonomous regions of Sudan. So why it is in the news? Because there was a genocide, okay, in the Al Fashar city. So Al Fashar city is in Darfur. So there is a group, okay, there's a paramilitary group in Sudan called as RSF. This RSF, okay, has got a, okay, militant, okay, iska naam hai Janjaweed. Janjaweed, you remember? So they commit a lot of atrocities because the problem is these are Arab people and these are non-Arab people. And obviously, if you want to become a hero, you have to create a villain. So they have, okay, created these people as villains. So that's why the Arab people go and attack this non-Arab people. So again, all the regions are given here. Okay, the explanation is also given here. You can see in the description. So if you're not finding anything, you can call me. Okay, you can also contact me. So remember this autonomous regions and the city name. The next one which is in the news is Lake Mai Dombe and Lake Tumba. So which is in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. So in Democratic Republic of Congo, you have this Congo forest, very thick forest, equatorial forest. And in this forest, you have this Congo River. This Congo River spreads in a very large area, creating large swamps. And these large swamps, over a period of time, over thousands of years, have deposited very large amount of organic matter. And this organic matter has given rise to peat. Peat is nothing but the soil which is very rich in organic matter. So this area has a large amount of peat, and this soil stores a large amount of carbon. This is also called as carbon sequestration. If you're storing carbon, okay, if you're having long-term storage of the carbon, then it's called as carbon sequestration. Now, after ocean, the soils will be holding, okay, more than trees. The soil will have very large amount of carbon. So recently what happened is that, okay, it is releasing CO2. So instead of acting as a storage, instead of trapping CO2, carbon, it is releasing CO2 in the atmosphere, and this will lead to climate change, global warming, etc. So such kind of locations have been asked in UPSC previously. So remember these two lakes. And anyways, in this context, remember pantanal wetlands. So pantanal wetlands is the largest wetland in a tropical region, okay, not the Congo basin. So next is Nangai Island. So Nangai Island is in Sierra Leone, so off the coast of Sierra Leone. So it is undergoing submergence. So because of excessive coastal erosions, you see this island has been submerged. So any news, okay, any location which has been affected by the climate change, okay, has been the focus of UPSC. Next, President of Brazil visits India, and this contest, let's see what are the important physiographic regions of the Brazil. You see this part over here, okay. So this is the part of the Guinea Highlands. The Guinea Highlands, these are exposed to batholiths. So these are rich in metalliferous minerals. Means once upon a time it was a batholith, okay, basement rock, but now it has become very old, it has been exposed outside. And this is all Brazilian highlands. So Brazilian highlands is also exposed shield region. Whereas on the eastern side of the Brazilian highlands, or this part, so this part is an escarpment, or this part is a block mountain. Because once upon a time, okay, you must have read in Wagner's continental drift theory. So the Brazil, okay, the South America and Africa, they were together and they have split apart, creating Atlantic Ocean in between. So that is why you have a block mountain or escarpment, just like Western Ghats. In the southern part, okay, of this Brazilian highlands, you have a lot of volcanoes. You have volcanism. So this is largely the physiography. You don't have to remember this much. Just remember Guinea Highlands, Brazilian Highlands. Since Brazilian Highlands, since it is the old shield region which has been exposed outside, it is very rich in metalliferous minerals. It's also rich in iron ore. You have a region called as Minas Gerais, okay, it is very rich in iron ore. Now some of the important rivers, okay, of Brazil, okay, of course, you know the Amazon, and of course San Francisco River, Parara River, and Tocantins River. See, don't remember all these rivers, just remember Amazon and remember Parana River. The Parana River will be flowing towards the south, okay, this is where you have the Parana River. But one tributary of Amazon becomes very important, this Tapajos river, because the ethnic people, the tribes, okay, which are living along the Tapajos river, so they wanted, okay, during COP30, when the COP30 has happened in Belém, okay, in Brazil, so they have protested, okay, they want their area to be recognized separately, and they are fighting against this climate change. So that's why this river becomes important. So next one, which is in the news. So again, some more important facts, with respect to Amazon. So it contains about 60% of the Amazon forest and world's largest tropical forest, very important. And the Brazil is located in northern hemisphere as well as southern hemisphere. And in terms of coffee, around 35 to 40% of the coffee is produced by Brazil. Next, the Brazil is also top in terms of sugarcane as well as sugar. So recently you must have read here and there that India has topped in terms of sugar. Thoda bahut difference hai, okay, but Brazil always has been the top. So even if you are including sugar, okay, and sugar which has been converted for ethanol, the Brazil still tops. So sugar cane, ganna alag hai, shakkar alag hai. So this is the sugar cane. So there's a large difference between India and Brazil. But when it comes to sugar, there's a small difference, okay. So the Brazil produces around 23%, India ka some 18, 19, 20%, small difference. Sometimes, it can be upar niche. So these kind of questions, okay, have been asked by UPSC previously. Now this is the Brazilian highlands, okay. Let's dive into, okay, the Guinea highlands, which is there in, okay, the northern Brazil. It's an old shield region rich in metalliferous minerals. Amazon lowlands, okay, rainforest, just now we have seen, world's largest tropical rainforest. And towards the south, okay, towards Argentina, you have this temperate grasslands called as pampas. And not only here, wherever, okay, if you are having grasslands, okay, if you are having, okay, dry woods or, a forest, then gradually the forests are being cut, the grasslands have been encroached, and agriculture is expanding in these regions. So that's why, just, remember करना, तो जहाँ पे भी grasslands होंगे या forest होंगे, वहाँ पे agriculture spread हो रहा होता है, especially in those countries, okay, which have very high population or developing countries. Now Cerrado region, you can see the region over here, Cerrado. The Cerrado is nothing but the savanna, because it is bit in the continental interiors. Here you have Brazilian highlands. So the rain-bearing winds won't be able to cross. Okay, even if they cross, they become dry. So this is on the leeward side. So that's why it has less rainfall. When you have less rainfall, the forest will be converted into grasslands or scrublands. So it will be having parkland landscape, means scattered trees honge yahan wahan pe. Now obviously wherever you will be having grass, since grasslands are extremely fertile, so they are converted for agriculture. And in terms of biodiversity also, it's very high. And nowadays, okay, they are growing soya, maize, and also cattle for beef. Next, Caatinga. So Caatinga is in the eastern part over here. So it is extremely dry and it has very high rates of evaporation. So it's a scrubland. Okay, remember Caatinga. Next, you have pantanal wetlands. So they can ask you the location of the pantanal wetlands. It is located sandwiched between three countries, Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay. You can remember this way. This is BB and that is PP. Okay, that way. Now it is fed by the Paraguay river. It has highest density of jaguars on the earth. It's also home to the second largest jaguar population. These things may not be that important, but it is the largest tropical wetland in the world. You can remember only this. Rest of the things you can ignore. And remember Paraguay river. Next, Thwaites Glacier, which is in Antarctica. So it is also called as Doomsday Glacier because it is rapidly thinning. And if it melts, it could raise the global sea levels by 3 to 5 meters. So that's why very important. Now look at the location of the Thwaites Glacier here. And remember these two seas of Antarctica, Weddell Sea and Ross Sea. In this context, you remember these two. So next, let's come to Indian geography, locations in Indian geography. Now 3 cubs are born in Kuno. Now in Kuno Palpur, which is in Madhya Pradesh, we have introduced cheetah. Because Asiatic cheetah has gone extinct in India. Till 1950s, the numbers were very high, but again, because of the increasing population, hunting, poaching, that population has gone extinct in India. Some 50 to 60 odd, okay, they are there in Iran. Asiatic cheetah is not completely extinct in wild. Okay, we still have it in Iran. India mein completely extinct hai. So that's why, okay, we got cheetahs from Africa. So this is African cheetah, not Asiatic cheetah. So African cheetahs have been introduced in India, and we got it from 3 countries. Initially in 22-23, we got it from Namibia, South Africa, and recently we got it from Botswana also. Now, not all the cheetahs which we got here will be surviving, because there the ecological niche is different, temperature is different, landscape is different. Here it will be different. There they'll be having large stretches of grasslands. In India, you won't be having. In India, it has to compete with the tiger also. The moisture conditions, the temperature conditions are different. And also some of the reasons why it has died, because our stupidity. That is, we have introduced the collar. The collar is very thick. Okay, India mein moisture zyada rehta hai. So because the moisture, it has, caught a lot of infections. Because of the infections, it has died. And also because of the fights, okay, for the territorial disputes also it has died. And also because of cardiac failure, because of insects, etc. So they have died. So they can ask you, these from which all countries we got, and in which national parks or sanctuaries it is still there. So in Kuno Palpur, first it was introduced in Kuno Palpur, later on they have been shifted to Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary also. So right now cheetahs in India are located in these 2, that is Kuno Palpur, Gandhi Sagar, both are in Madhya Pradesh. Next, in Udanti Sitanadi Tiger Reserve. So we have a restaurant, okay, for Malabar pied hornbill. See, restaurant matlab, it's not like vulture restaurants. In vulture restaurants, what do you do? आप beef हो या carcasses हो, okay, या buffalo का meat हो, okay, वो आप open में डाल देते हो ताकि vulture आके उसके ऊपर feed कर सके. But here it's not like this. So what we have done here is that native food bearing trees, okay, so that they will be available throughout the year. Okay, such kind of trees are grown so that the food is available to them throughout the year. So this is Malabar pied hornbill. Next, recently there has been a study which has been conducted by the Birbal Sahani Institute of Paleosciences. So what they have conducted, what the study has found out is that, so earlier this, the great herbivores, they were present all over India. But now their population has been restricted to eastern part only. Largely, it has been restricted to the eastern part. So they found out the reasons. Okay, the paleoclimatic studies means, paleo means Purana. So Purane climatic studies say, okay, they have found out that the climate deterioration has happened in the west. So in the western part, the aridity has increased, because to have such kind of big herbivores, you need a lot of green pastures, you need wetlands. So dryness has been increasing. The population has been increasing in this area. The temperatures also have soared. And towards the east, for a very long time, consistently, the rainfall is constant. The wetlands have been maintained. The green areas have been maintained. So that's why the rhinoceros have been restricted to the eastern part. So this is what the Birbal Sahani Institute has been found. But today, where these rhinos, mega herbivores like rhinos have been restricted to. So obviously 70% of the population is there in Kaziranga. Remember Kaziranga, very important. And you have rest of the population in Orang also, Manas also, Jaldapara also, Gorumara also, and towards the east only in Dudhwa. So rest of the things are there in Nepal. Okay, so towards the east, remember Dudhwa. So rest everything is in the towards the west it is in Dudhwa, and rest is all in the east only. So next one which is in the news is illegal rat hole mining has killed people. Now where this illegal rat hole mining is taking place, despite the Supreme Court ban here, despite the ban by the NGT, The rat hole mining is still taking place because the people here are very poor, they don't have any other sources of income. So whatever coal is there, they will mine. So they will use all informal sources and they will mine the coal, which is a very dangerous activity. So extensively it has been taking place in entire Meghalaya, but extensively it is taking place in Jaintia Hills. By the way, the Meghalaya plateau here, the Meghalaya plateau is made up of Garo Hills, Kashi Hills, Jaintia Hills, and these are also the names of the tribes here. Now, when you will be doing mining, okay, in an informal way, you will not be caring for the environment. Of course, this will trigger the earthquakes, the mines will collapse, the people will be trapped inside, the people will die. So many such incidents have happened recently, but people are not stopping because that's the only source of livelihood for them. Now, here in this contest, what the UPSC can ask? The UPSC can ask who have been affected. So, Jaintias. In Jaintia Hills, you have Jaintia tribe, Pnar people, P-N-A-R. And which river has been affected? Remember Lukha River. The Lukha River has become extremely acidic. The Lukha River is extremely bluish in color. So it will be flowing into Surma Valley. So here you have in Jaintia Hills, here you have Lukha River. It will be flowing into Bangladesh, into Surma Valley or Surma River. And one more river, is Kopali River. The Kopali River is flowing into Brahmaputra. The Kopali River is also worst affected. Remember these two names. The new mud volcano has exploded in Diglipur. So this is where you have this Diglipur. And in the textbooks or elsewhere, you must have heard that India has only one mud volcano. This only one mud volcano is located in Baratang Island. So Baratang Island is located here. So Baratang is here. This is the new one. So India now has two mud volcanoes. One in North Andaman, other is in Baratang Island. By the way, why do these mud volcanoes occur? See, mud volcanoes, of course, they are found along the tectonic plate boundaries. But this tectonic plate boundary should be having very high sedimentary rocks. Sediment should be very high. And this sediment should be undergoing very high compression. So when they undergo very high compression, a lot of methane gas is produced. So that is when these mud volcanoes are produced. So where you will be having water is being released. Along with the water, sometimes there can be a fire also. This fire is because of the methane which is released in the sediments. It is not because of lava coming out. And in mud volcano, there is no lava. Remember this. The fire is because of the methane gas. Next, Tekkalakote in Ballari district. In Tekkalakote, Ballari district, Neolithic burial sites have been found where intact human skeletons with unique stone over the body burials has been found, and they date back to Neolithic age, that is 3000 to 200 BCE. Next, you see this. These are the true neutron stars which collide with each other, and when they collide with each other, the universe में बहुत बड़ा धमाका होगा. And this dhamaka creates shuffles, they create disturbances in space-time continuum. So whenever two black holes collide, whenever two heavenly bodies collide, or a very large star is bursting in a very huge supernova explosion, so whenever such kind of incidents happen in the universe, the space-time continuum, the space-time fabric, ripples will be created in space-time continuum. And these ripples are called as gravitational waves. And to detect such gravitational wave, so we are building an observatory, the gravitational wave detector, which is called as LIGO India. So it will be built in Hingoli, Maharashtra. So you have two such very large, around 4 kilometer wide, 4 kilometer length pipe will be there. So whenever ripples will be created, so the light which is projected, the light wave will be disturbed. So that is how we will be detecting this gravitational waves. Anyways, more about this you will study in science and technology. So this is the locational part of the month of February 2026, and I'll also do a full series, entire mapping session also I'll be doing. Please keep watching that. Okay, in previous years also, okay, whatever I have discussed, okay, in the class like this, okay, they have come in the examination. So there's a high probability that things will come in the examination. Thank you. See you again, and please subscribe my channel, encourage my channel. Thank you.